And then we are going to download the cartography tool. So I'm going to share screen. I'm going to share desktop. Can you see the screen now? You are going to access to GBSIG to www.gbsig.com/FOSS4G. Okay, this path, this URL, you have to access www.gbsig.com and FOSS4G. And at this page, you have the link to the cartography. You press secondary button on the cartography link and save link as. You have to save link, and you have to save the zip file with the cartography. For example, you can create, if you are in Windows, you can create a GBSIG folder in C unit, and then inside this GBSIG folder, you can download the zip file. And then after downloading the zip file, you have to extract. You have to unzip. Okay. So you will have a folder with the cartography, and inside you will have these folders and this file. Okay, I'm going to check if anybody has any doubt. They are okay. Everybody are here, and I'm going to stop sharing. To check if anybody have any doubt. So have you downloaded GBSIG and the cartography? Let me know at the chat if any of you haven't downloaded the cartography or GBSIG, and I can wait a minute. Okay, it seems that all of you have the cartography now and GBSIG downloaded, the portable version. So we're going to start the webinar. Okay, as you can see here, the cartography, we have several layers from London, New Zealand, then we have traffic lines and USA layers. And we have a file with some links that we are going to use during the workshop. Okay, so you are going to, I'm going to close GBSIG, and you are going to start GBSIG. You will have, for the portable version, you have the folder, and inside the folder, you will have a GBSIG desktop.exe. So you have the application file. You can start GBSIG with the GBSIG desktop.exe. This is the file, or if you don't have the extensions at the If you don't have the extensions, you will see GBC desktop and it will be an application file. Okay, so you will have to run GBC, running a GBC desktop file that is an application. Okay, I'm going to run from the console because I am at Linux. So after running GBC, you will see this splash with the information of the final version. It's very important to have GBC portable version in a path without the spaces. Okay, I'm going to change to English first. So from the preferences, I'm going to change the application to English. So general, language, then English. I'm going to accept, and then I'm going to restart GBC. I'm going to wait that it finishes starting, and now I will reboot GBC. Okay, so you have to run GBC then. You have GBC in different languages. From the show preferences, you can change show preferences and general and language. You can change GBC to any of the languages that are available. So I'm going to restart.
Hi,
to
Mario.
Have all the application. Yes, hi.
Please share your screen.
Sorry, yes. Yes, I'm going to share a screen. Okay, again. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, now you can see it's okay, now you can see GBC. Okay, as I told you, you have to open GBC from the GBC desktop file when is the portable version. You also can, if you are working to, if you are going to work with GBC in the future, you can also install the installable version. But I recommended the portable version for the workshop because we have the same installation. Okay, so for the portable version, you have a GBC desktop.exe file, and it's an application file. And then you can run GBC. The portable version has to be in a path without spaces, and you can change, I repeat, you can change the language from show preferences, from general language, and then here you have all the languages that are available at this moment. Okay,
Excuse me, Mario.
Yes?
We can't see your screen. Please retry
it's not
again.
sharing my screen now?
Okay.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was sharing. Okay, sorry. Sorry. So you can see the screen now.
Okay.
Okay. So all of you have GBC open. I can wait. If you have GBC, and you also can access to www.gbc.com. I repeat, .com/FOSS4G. Okay, this is the other link. Sorry, I have another FOSS4G. This is the URL, and you have to download save link as. You have to download the zip file with the cartography, and you have to unzip the cartography. Okay, so we can start now. Okay, as you know, I don't know if you know GBSIG project. GBSIG project is composed of it's a suite of products, a catalog of products. It's composed of a GBSIG desktop that we are going to work on. This is for desktop. This is a desktop application for advanced analysis. We also have GBSIG Online that allows to create geoportals in a few minutes. For example, there are a lot of municipalities that are using GBSIG. I'm going to open a new tab. For example, this one. This is a municipality in Spain. They are. I'm going to change. They are only. They have the portal, the web portal in Spanish and Valencian, but you can see several examples of GBSIG Online for urban planning, for example. They have all the information here. They have the cadastre, okay, and they can create these geoportals in a few minutes, but it's not easy to install as GBSIG Mobile or GBSIG Desktop, okay? So it's very interesting for municipalities. If you are interested, you can contact me and I can inform you about this application for to create websites, geoportals, and then sorry. And then the other product is GBSIG Mobile. GBSIG Mobile is available for Android at this moment. And we also have from the Play Store, and we have a new one for mobile devices that is a framework to create mobile applications that it will be GBSIG Maps. So it's very recent. So it will be available. It will be the next GBSIG mobile application. And so we have this catalog of products. We are going to work with GBSIG Desktop. Okay, so you have GBSIG Desktop open. First of all, we are going to access to the preferences, show preferences to see the main preferences of the project. They are, for example, a general language. As I told you, you can change the language. And then you can restart GBSIG and all the application will be in this language. You also have a network option. It's very important because you can check if you have any problem with when you connect to web services. For example, if you can't connect, you can check if GBSIG has internet connection from here. In my case, I have internet connection. So if I have any problem, it will be because the URL is not correct, or there is any space at the URL or something similar, or the server is fell down. So if you have problems, if you are not connected, maybe you have proxy access by proxy to internet in your organization. So in this case, you will have to copy the parameters of the proxy at the browser. You have to paste them here to have internet connection from GBSIG, okay, if you have proxy. And the other main option is the view. At the view, you can check the default projection, the reference system by default for any view that you create. So in this case, CPHG 4326 is WGS 84. As you can see down at the bottom, this is the system by default for any view that you create. And you can create also you can change the factor for the zooms, or if you can change the selection color. For example, in this case, it's yellow color. You can apply a few transparency a little transparency for the selection color too. And they are the main options. And another one is layer order in table of contents. So from view, layer order in table of contents, there are two options. Default order is any layer is at the top. When you load new layers, they are at the top. Or the other one is the raster files at the bottom, then polygon layers, then line layers, and then at the top, point layers. Okay, so it's another option to load layers, but we also can change the order at the table of contents in any moment. Okay, so we are going to keep the default order. Okay, we are going to accept even that although we didn't any change, but we have accepted. Okay, so the other main option without starting with the view is the tools add-ons manager. Okay, we are going to accept access to tools add-ons manager. From you can install from standard installation, that is all the plugins and symbol libraries that are contained in the installation. We also can install from file if we have a package, a plugin with these extensions. We can load this plugin from here. And we also can use installation from URL. We are going to connect to this server. So you are going to select this option, installation from URL, and you are going to keep the default URL. And here you have all the plugins that are available to install, and for example, and the symbol libraries. So we are going to, for example, you have for cadastre, in this case, you can create GML files. For example, you have for hydrology and hydraulic, you have several plugins. You also have for mobile, they are the plugins that allows you to connect with GBC Mobile. In this case, you can create forms that you can load in GBC Mobile with photographies, the different fields, and this is to import GBC Mobile projects. And if you access to symbols, you can load different symbol libraries that are available. And you, for example, you are going to install OpenStreetMap. Okay, you are going to mark the symbol library, the OpenStreetMap, OSM. You are going to mark this symbol library. Then you are going to press all again. You are going to press all, and you are going to write at the searcher. You are going to write geocode, geo and C, and you can see this geo process, geocoding. So you are going to mark this this plugin too. Okay. So we have one symbol library and one plugin, and we are going to finish. Sorry, to press next. We are going to press next. They are installed. And after that, we have to press finish. Now we get a message that these changes will take effect when GBC is restarted. It's only for plugins, not for symbol libraries. So if we only install the OpenStreetMap symbol library, we don't have to restart GBC. But as we have downloaded the plugin for geocoding, we have to restart GBC. Okay, so you don't have to restart if you only have installed symbol libraries. But we have installed a plugin, so we have to exit GBC we are going to discard changes, and then we run gbsig again. Okay. So now we will have the plugin on our installation. When we run gbsig, we will have the plugin on our installation. Okay, my gbsig is open. I'm going to wait because in Windows it usually lasts some more time. So I'm going to wait if you want. And I'm going to start explaining the main parts of this view. From Show menu and Project Manager, we can see all the type of documents that we can load in gbsig. For example, we can create views. That is where we are going to add the cartography. We can open tables that are the attribute tables of the vector layers that we have in our views. And we also can add external tables. For example, if we have an Excel file, we can load this file as table. We also can create maps that will be the graphical output. So we can create a map with the legend, the scale, the north, and the views that we want. We can create portable views. For example, if we want to share a view with all the information that is on the view, we can create a portable view and share it with our colleagues, for example, to other users. And we can create reports. So we have, with the reports, we can create a report with a template, and we can create the reports. So they are the type of documents that are supported by gbsig. And at the view, when we open gbsig, a view is created by default. We have 3 parts. This part is to insert the cartography. The table of contents is this part where we will see all the layers that we have in our view, the internal layers and the web services and the databases, etc. And this part is the locator that we will see later. Okay, and very important is the reference system of our view. In this case, we have this one by default is the geographical coordinates and WGS 84. Okay, so EPSG 4326 is the reference system by default. Okay, any of you have, all of you have gbsig open? So we are going to continue then. If you want to that I wait, let me know. If you don't have gbsig open, let me know and I can wait. Okay, so we are going to start. At the first view, we are going to add a first layer. In this case, we have from view menu, we have add layer, the option, but we also have the fourth button is add layer. It's from here, the fourth button of the toolbar, add layer, and we also have the type of layers that we can load. We can load files. We can load files, vector and raster files. For vector files, we can load GML, KML, DXF, all the CAD formats, shapefile, etc. We also can load web services, web map service, web map tile service, web feature service. Then we can load OGR library formats, for example, the GPX format for the GPS. We also can load databases, for example, H2 or FOSS4Gs, and OpenStreetMap data, okay? And web maps for Bing and Google Maps layers. So from File, we're going to Add, to press Add, and you are going to the folder that you have unzipped with the cartography of the workshop. And you are going to access to London. The London folder, you will have the London boroughs with the districts of the London city in UK. So London boroughs, and you press Open. And here we have a very important information. This shape file has a PRJ file with the projection information. Okay, in this case, the reference system is different than the view, so layer is going to be reprojected on the fly. But we also can select the layer, and we can change the reference system of the view. From here, we press CRS view button. So if we press this button, the view will be changed to the reference system of the layer. Okay, so you press CRS view, and now we don't have reprojected on the fly. Then we accept, and here you have the reference system of the view has been changed to the reference system of the layer. Okay, so the layer is in the correct side because it's in the same reference system than the view. Okay, so we have a first layer. We also can load layers from the catalog where we can manage the bookmarks, etc. But we are going to change to TOC, table of contents. So if you put active the layer in black color, you can select the attribute table, secondary button, the contextual menu, and attribute table, or it's also available at the toolbar. This button, show attribute table, and you are going to open this information. Okay, you have all the registers that are on the view, on the vector file. So you can select the different elements. This is the attribute table. And we have a field with the names of the boroughs that we are going to use to create the symbology and to apply labelings. Okay, so we are going to press double click on the layer, or double click or secondary button and properties. It's the same. Okay, so double click. This is the layer properties, and we can change all the information. Okay, so you are going to access to symbols to change the symbology of the layer. In this case, we have unique symbol, all the layer with the same color. We can change the color, or we can apply by quantities, for example, by intervals, by area, for example, or by population. And we also have categories. We also have expressions, advanced labeling, and we also have categories, unique values. With this legend, we can apply all the boroughs will be in a different color. So we're going to select the field name. We are going to change to a color scheme with more colors, because in this case we have different colors. So all the boroughs, they will be in 3 different colors. So for example, you are going to look for this one or this one with a variety of colors. For example, this one, hard candy, or this one, ocean, it has more different colors. So for example, this one. And when we select the color scheme, we have to press add all. And all the different names of the boroughs are in a different color. If we see that we have several similar colors, because it's decided by the application, the different colors, we can press add all another time. Okay, so it's another option, and when we see that there are different colors, we can select this one, for example. So if we apply, we can see the different colors here. If we have some repeated color, for example, in my case, I have this one. We can double click on the color, double click, and we choose symbol. And then here we can change the color of this borough. For example, green color, this green color, for example. We press OK. We also can change the border, the color of the border, and the size. As you can see here, the size of the border. Then we accept, and here we have the new color. And we apply. So we can see the change. And we can accept. So at this moment, we have the symbology by the name of the boroughs. And here we have the legend with the different colors. We also have changed the color from here. Double click on the borough, on the color, double click, and it's the same, okay? We can apply transparency, for example. So it has transparency, okay? Okay, I'm going to continue with the labeling. So we want to label by the name of the boroughs, the different boroughs, any borough with their the name. So we press double click again on the layer, double click. And now the third tab is labeling. So labeling, we're going to enable labeling. And we have two different options. First one is the simple one, the name of the field that we select, for example, the name of the boroughs. And the other one is the advanced labeling, where we have add different lines, for example, the line name and the name of the borough, area and the area of the borough. So it's the advanced labeling. We're going to select the first one, the label attributes defined in table. The field is name, the name of the boroughs. If we have a field with the high, we can select this option, but we don't have this field, so we are going to select the fixed height. In this case, for example, we can use pixels. Pixel is useful for to manage the view, but not when we want to print the maps, because pixels is a unit for the screen, not for paper. So for paper, we can use, I'm going to apply only 10 pixels to see the difference. So you can see that it's useful for to consult on the screen, but it's not useful for the PDF file if we create a map. So we're going to change to a metric unit, for example, meters. And 10 meters no, because it's a very small unit. So for example, we are going to select 500 meters. 500, and the units meters. And here you can see that all of them are in the same size. Okay, you can see the difference between pixels and meters. So all of them are in the same size. So we accept, and we have this information, okay, the label and the symbology. Okay, we are going to continue. We are going to add a new layer. In this case, we are going to press the fourth button, add layer again, add layer, the fourth button, file, and add file. The first option, add file, and we are going to select Central London shapefile. Okay, Central London, double click or double click on the image, Central London. In this case, this is in the same reference system than the view, so it will appear in the correct size, in the correct site. Okay, we accept, and here we have the information about Central London. Okay, so it's in the correct site, as we can see here. It's in the correct site. Okay, we are going to see the attribute table of the new layer. We're going to put the layer active, Central London, and we are going to see the selection options. So first one is you have several options with the arrows here. So you can use simple selection. So simple selection, and you can select the elements as you can see here. And if you press Control key, you can select several elements at the same time. Okay, or select or unselect. Okay. You can use also the select by rectangle tool. So here you have all the elements that are on the inside the rectangle. Okay, and if you press it, a new tool available in this version from the last week is if you press Shift key when you are using select by rectangle, if you press Shift key, only the contained elements are selected. Okay, so for here, you can see the difference. This is without Shift key. This is with Shift key. Okay. Okay, so you also have select by polygon, for example. Here you have the select by polygon tool. And all these elements are selected on the attribute table. Okay, so you are going to open the attribute table from this button of the toolbar or from secondary button attribute table. Okay, and you can see that all the elements are selected in the view and on the table. So we have here one element. There's another one's here. It's not easy to see the elements that are selected. What can we do? We can use this button, move up selection. So with this button, move up selection, we have in my case, 43 elements at the top of the table. Okay, it's very easy to use. Okay, so we are going to see another option is information tool. Information by point. It's on the active layer. So if we press here, for example, we can get all the information of this element. Or we can press here, all the information of this element, etc. Okay, you can get the information of the different elements. Another option that we have is the filter, this button, select by attribute. Okay, the filter, this button, all of them are in selection menu. Okay, select by attribute. You can press here, select by attribute. And you are going to select, here is the new expression manager, where we can select, for example, the elements with different layers. Okay, so you can use, for example, you have functions for distances, for intersections, buffers, union. Okay, so you can select elements depending on different parameters and functions, operators. Okay, but in our case, we are going to select this option. Central London is our layer, and we are going to press double click on LAD 11NM. This field is the field with the names of the districts of Central London. Okay, so you are going to press double click on this one name, then this button, or you can write with the keyboard, is the same. Okay, and for example, we are going to select the City of London. Double click on City of London, and we have it's in white color because it's a correct expression. Okay, so we have this expression, and we're going to select new selection. Okay, so if we close the expression manager, we can see that the City of London districts have been selected. Okay, this is the filter, and they have been selected. Okay, so it's very, if we want to work with this part, we want to have a new shapefile only with the City of London districts, we can export this information to a new shapefile, for example. So secondary button on the Central London layer, we press export to, export to. We can export to DXF file, to shapefile, CSV, image, KML, database, to PostGIS, for example, we can export. And we are going to select shapefile, the same format. Okay, shapefile, we press next. We're going to use the simplified export, so we press next. And we are going to select the name of the new file. So you have to open the folder that you have here. You have to open the folder. If you open the folder, you are going to access to the folder where you have the cartography of the workshop. You can create a new folder, for example, new, for the new layers, new, and the new layer will be City of London. Okay, I recommend to avoid spaces, because spaces for raster layer, for example, causes problems. So I recommend to write folders and files without spaces in their names. Okay, you press open, we have the path. You press next. Reference system, we want to export to the same reference system than the view. Okay, so we press next. We only want to export the selected elements. We only want to export the City of London, so only selected elements. We press next, and then we press export. We want to add the layer, okay, okay. and close. And we have a new file with the shape file, a new file, it's a shape file with the City of London districts, okay? So it's very useful when we have a big layer and we only want to work on a small area, okay? So you can export only selected elements. Okay, we are going to continue. We're, for example, if we are at the City of London here, another option that I told you is the locator, is this area, this part of the window is the locator. At this locator, we can add any of the layers of our view to zoom on the different parts in an easy way. So for example, we are going to select the London boroughs layer, then secondary button, and then we are going to press add to locator. Okay, secondary button and add to locator. And now with the main button of the mouse, you can zoom, you can draw a rectangle, okay, and you are going to that area. Okay, it's very easy to zoom to any of the areas of our work area. And with the secondary button, you can move that area to another part, okay? So it's very easy with the first button and with the secondary button. Okay, the locator is very, very useful. Okay, and to finish this view, we are going to see some queries, some query information tools. In this case, we had the information by point that we saw. We also have query by area, the next one. And here you can press click, you can click on the view and double click when you want to finish. So if we move the mouse, we can see the perimeter and the area of the polygon that we draw. Okay, so here you have the area and the perimeter of the polygon. And we also have distances. For example, from here for the river, and double click, we finish. So we have the total distance of the path, and we also have the distance of the last segment. For example, here we have the second segment, second line. We have the distance for this segment and the total of the itinerary. And if we press double click, we get this information, okay? Okay, I'm going to create a new view. In this case, we're going to create a new view where we are going to create new layers. So do you have any doubt? I don't know if you have any doubt. The chat, I don't know how to access to the chat. Yes, here. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, okay? Okay, we are going to continue. Now we are going to create about the selection tools. We have the borrow, and we have you can select here, for example. Okay, you are going to select here several elements. With Control key, you can select different elements or unselect. Okay, and if you want to delete to remove selection, you can select this option, clear selection. Okay, the button is available from the table, from here, or from the view, from here. Okay, clear selection. And we also have the option to inverse selection, to reverse selection. Okay, so if we have this element selected, we can press this option and the other ones are selected. Okay, the opposite. Okay, so I'm going to continue. We are going to create now a new view. Okay, we are going to create a new view. So we are going to go to access the project manager. So show menu and then project manager. We are going to access here. We have the view that we created previously, and we are going to create a new view. So you press here, new, and we have a new view. We can access to the properties of this view from here, view properties. We select the view here and the properties, or from the view properties menu. Okay, so we are going to access to the properties. So you access here, view properties. We are going to change the name, for example, view 2, for example. Okay, it's the name of the view. The reference system, the current projection is this one, is the projection by default. But we are going to select the other reference system, the reference system of London City. Okay, so you are going to access to the current projection. You are going to access to this button. Okay, you access here. Also, in my case, I have a problem. Maybe it's my installation. Okay, so I'm going to check another option. Sorry, I'm going to select another option. One moment. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go back. View properties. No, in my case, it's not working here. Okay, so you can access here to change the current projection. And you can, I'm going to do it in another option. Okay, so view 2, one moment, view properties, view 2. I'm going to accept view properties. No, it's not working in my case. Okay, so I can select this option from here. I don't know it's in my operative system because it's an old system. You can access here to current projection, or you can change the reference system when adding the first layer. So for example, I'm going to do it when adding the first layer. Okay, so we can do it from here. Add layer, you press add layer, you press file, and then add. And you are going to select the London 27700. Okay, this one, the TIFF file, this is a raster file. And you press open. Okay, we are going to load this raster file. When we load a raster file, we have two options. We can load the file in tiled mode by rectangles, or we can load normally. When the file is very big, for example, several gigabytes, you can use tile for mode. But when the file is small, in most cases, like now, you can use normally. So we are going to select normally. In this case, we're going to select normally because it's not a big file. And you are going, in my case, I have the reference system of the layer. So I'm going to change the reference system of the view from this button, CRS view. So I'm changing to 27700. Okay, so we accept, and here we have the reference system of the view. You could do it from view properties, but in my case, I get an error. I don't know why, but you can do it in the other way. So we have an orthophoto of the city of London. Okay, so we have an orthophoto here, and we are going to create, for example, we are going to this area, to this part, to this area. For example, here, this area in the south of the park, at this area, here, and we are going to create a new shapefile. Okay, we want to digitalize on the layer on this orthophoto. So, for example, if we want to digitalize these buildings or a petrol station, a shopping center, the city hall. Okay, so we want to create a new vector layer, a new shapefile. So to create a new shapefile, you have to access to view menu, and then new layer, not add layer. You have to access to new layer. Okay, and now we can create at this moment we can create new shapefiles. So you press create new shapefile, new shape layer. You press next. We're going to select the name of the new shapefile, so the output file. So you access to this button, the points, and to the folder, the new folder that you have created, new. Okay, where we have the City of London shapefile that we exported before. Okay, so the new file will be, for example, buildings. Buildings is the name of the new shapefile that we want to create. You press open, and here we have the path, new folder, and buildings is the name of the shapefile. Okay, so you press next, and we have a field, one field by default. This is the geometry. Okay, this field doesn't appear in the table by default because it only contains the coordinates of the different elements. For example, for a point layer, the geometry field contains the x and y, okay, the coordinates. If it's a line, the different coordinates of the lines, and if it's a polygon layer, the coordinates of the different polygons, okay? So for the geometry type, we have to select here at geometry type, you have to select the type of layer that we want to create. We can create point layer or multi-point layer. In this case, only 1 point per register, per row in the table of contents. Sorry, in the attribute table. Or multi-point, we can draw different points at the same register. So the same for line or multi-line or polygon or multi-polygon. So we are going to select multi-polygon because we can create the city council if it's composed of two different buildings. We can draw two buildings in the same register of the attribute table. Okay, so multi-polygon. And we are going to add a new field. So you press add field. Here we have the new field, and you press double click. You double click on the name of the field. Instead of field 1, we are going to name, for example, type. The type of, and we press enter, the type of building, the string, this is the type of field, string, integer, float, or date. In this case, the string is text field because we are going to write the name of the type of the building. The length the length is how many characters we want to create at this field. For example, for the name with 50 is good, is fine. But if we want to write the URL to link to another website, for example, if we have for the hyperlink, we have to write more than 50 because if we write 50, it will be cut. Okay, so if we want to use the new field for the hyperlink for the URL, we have to write 250 or something similar. Okay. So we press next. We press next. And we are going to keep this option, add layer to the view. And we press finish. So here we have the new layer. Okay, the buildings. We have this new layer. And now we are going to start editing. Okay, the layer, if we open the attribute table, we put it active, and we open attribute table with this button, attribute table, we can see the new field, the field type, and it's empty, any record, okay? So we're going to press secondary button on the building layer and start editing. Secondary button on the building layer and start editing. Now it's in red color, and we can see that there are new toolbars. The new toolbars are to create new elements, circles, polygons, rectangles, spines, etc. We also have to move, rotate, to copy, cut, split, scale, join geometries, etc. So we have different new toolbars with editing options. And now we are going to go to zoom to an area, for example, this one. I'm going to draw, to digitalize these elements. In this case, for example, this one for the city hall. So we are going to select the tools to draw new elements. We have circles, ellipse, or for example, this one is irregular polygons. So we are going to select this option, irregular polygons. You select this option. If you press the arrow, you can see what is the tool, which is the tool, insert polygon, okay? And you are going to draw the new polygon. For example, from here, click, we press click on the different points. So we press click here, and we have two options to finish editing. Okay, for example, in this case, I have to draw only one more element, this one. Okay, so I can do it double clicking on this point, double click, and it's closed automatically. Okay, if we press double click, it has to be on the last point, not the first one. Okay, I can do it. For example, I'm going to draw another one. I'm going to show you the other option. For example, here, and this option. If I draw the last point, I can do it. I can double click on here because I can get a corrupt geometry. Okay, if I have clicked on the last point, I only can finish by clicking on the secondary button and finish or close polyline. Okay, finish or close. If I have all the points on the view, I only can finish with this option. For example, close, and it goes to the first one. Okay, and for this one, for example, the other option is here, double click. Okay, if I have all the points on the view, if I double click on the first one, I can get a corrupt geometry, an error, because it can create an 8, okay, a crossed line, okay, and it's not a correct geometry. So if I have all the points on the view, I can use secondary button, or at the console we have C for close polyline or F for finish polyline. So C for the close polyline and enter. Okay, it's very important. Or double click on the last point. Okay, so we have 3 different elements. Do you have any doubt until now? No? Okay, so we are going to continue. We have the geometries, but we also have an attribute table for this layer. So if you open the attribute table with this button, show attribute table, you have the different elements that we have drawn. Okay, so we can double click on the element, on the field, and this one, for example, city council. We press enter. We can write 50 characters maximum, because this type of field is 50 characters. Okay, so the second one, the shopping center. Double click. Shopping center, and we press enter. Okay, to save the text. And at the third one, double click, petrol station. And we press enter. So we have the different elements. Okay, so you can draw more buildings, you can digitalize more buildings. You have to take into account that if the building is very high, you will have a possible error when you draw. Okay, you can see for example, it depends this building, it seems there's a shadow very high. So it depends on the base. The footprint can't be different than the roof. Okay, so you can get a mistake when you digitalize very high buildings. Okay, you have to take this information into account. Okay, so when we finish editing, when we have finished digitalizing any building, we have to press secondary buttons on the layer and then finish editing. And we have three options. The first one is to save the layer and it's closed. To discard if we don't want to save anything. So the the editing is finished and the layer will be empty. And continue if we want to continue editing. Okay, so we are going to save. We're going to save, and now we have the geometries, the three geometries in my case, and the attribute table with the texts that we wrote: city council, shopping center, petrol station. Okay, so you can create any type of layer: points, lines, or polygons. For example, you can create a line layer to draw the streets, or a point layer for the points of interest of the city. For example, the museums. So you can draw, you can create a point layer, and you can draw the different points of interest, for example, or the bike rentals, etc. Okay, do you have any doubt until now? No? Okay, we're going to continue. For example, I'm going to the folder where we have the cartography, and at London folder, we have a CSV file with the bike rentals. Okay, I'm going to open with the text editor, and we can see it's a file, it's a table where the fields are separated by this character, and then we have the OpenStreet. It's an OpenStreetMap layer. We have six fields: this one, the code, this one, the name, and the coordinates. And we can see this is a table. Okay, so we can load this table in GBC Desktop. And if we have coordinates, as we have in this case, we have X and Y for the coordinates, we can load this layer as a point layer. Okay, so we can do it in two different ways. The first option is to go to Show and Project Manager, and then the type of document, the table. So we can open the table, and we can add a level layer. Okay, this is the first option, but we are going to use the second one. Okay, so we can open a table, the CSV file, and then after that we can go to this button at the event layer. We select the table. In this case, we haven't loaded the layer, the table. We select the table and the fields with the coordinates. Okay, but this is a more direct option. This new option is from the add layer, as we did with the shapefile or the web services, etc. Okay, so we press add layer. Add layer, and from file, we press add. Okay, like we did with the shapefile. And now we are going to select the CSV file. Okay, CSV, bicycle rental, double click, and here we have the CSV file. But this is a table. We have two fields with the coordinates, but this is a table. Now we have to access to the properties of this table. Okay, properties, and here we have a wizard to load the CSV file. So we have two tabs. First one is the general tab. We can change the character set, the regional configuration. For example, in this case, if you press English configuration and you press preview, you can see that the coordinates are not correct. Why? Because I created this file from my Spanish Excel application. So the separation between the decimals, it's not the same than in English format. So you are going to select Spanish, okay, Spanish option. In this case, Español, Spanish, okay, this option, Español, because the decimals, as you can see here, this number is correct. We have 500,000 for the X coordinate, so it's correct. Okay, so you select Español and you press preview. So you can check that this coordinate is correct and the Y is the same, 177,176,77,000. And you also can, if the semicolon, if your separator of the which we saw that the separator was the semicolon. But if we have a comma or tab, we can change this option and then press preview to check how the table will be loaded. But this is a table, and now we have to select the geometry tab. Why? Because we have two fields with the coordinates. So we have to press columns with values for X, Y, and Z. And the X is the X field, and the Y is the Y field, okay? This is because we have two fields with the coordinates, the X and Y. So we have to select this option in Geometry tab, the coordinates, and we have to apply the reference system. Which is this reference system? The same as done in the view. The coordinates are the same. So we press CRS, and here you have the recent one, 277 at 00. If you don't have this reference system here, you can access to EPSG. Okay, you can select the type EPSG, and then you can look for, you can search by code. We know the code. Okay, so 27700, and we press enter. Okay, so here we have this only reference system for this code. So British, as you can see here. So we select this one, double click, and here we have the reference system of this table, of this table with coordinates. Okay. So now we're going to accept. Here we have the table with the properties, so we accept. And now we're going to zoom to this layer because we don't know why where there are the points. So secondary button on the bicycle rental layer, secondary button, and zoom to layer. Okay, secondary button and zoom to layer. We have the orthophotos and we can see the points. What can we do? We can open the plus button here, and here we can change the symbology for the bicycle rentals. Okay, so you press double click on this point, double click here, and we can change the symbology for the bicycle rental points. We have markers for points, lines, and fill for polygons, but our layer only contains points. So we select marker, and then we are going to change the color. For example, for red color, we are going to select red color or green color because it's lighter. And we are going to increase the size. Instead of 4, we're going to select 8 or 10, more or less 9, okay? And you are going to press accept. So here you can see the new points, okay? We are seeing the points, but it's very important to say this is a CSV file. This is a table, okay? This is a table, not a file, not a shape file. What can we do? We can export with this table, this layer, this table on the view. We can export this layer to a new shape file, to a new file. In this case, a shape file. Okay, so secondary button on this table, secondary button, or layer menu is the same, and export to. Okay, secondary button and export to. We want to export to shapefile, so you press shapefile. Then we press next. In this case, we are going to use not the simplified export, but the other one. Okay, you are going to uncheck this option because I want to show you the different options that this export offers us. Okay, you are going to unmark this option to use the longer, and you press next. First option, use the geometry field by default. Okay, it's correct. We press next. We want, if we have a 3D layer that we want to convert to a 2D layer, we can use this option. Instead of 3D, we can use subtype 2D, for example. But in this case, it's 2D because we only have X and Y coordinates. So we press next. Validation, we are going to give the option to don't check the geometries. Okay, next. The encoding is very important. For example, in this case, we are going to select UTF-8. It's very important because when we receive a layer, we sometimes don't know in which encoding it is. So we can export this layer to a new one with the UTF-8 encoding that is more common with this option. So we press next. Here we have all the fields that we have in our table. We have these names. And if we want to change the name of any of them, we can do it here. For example, double click and we can write the new name. Or we can select, for example, we don't know the code. The code, we don't know this field in the new layer. Okay, so we can select this option or change the type or the size, etc. So we are going to press next. And here we can see the name of the field, of the file, sorry. We press here, the folder, and we are going to the new folder, new, and in this case is bike rental. And I usually write the reference system. So it's if you want, you can do it. Okay, it's very important, as I told you, to avoid spaces or accents, etc. Okay, so for example, in this case, it's a good name. We press open and we press next. Okay, reference system, the same than the view. It's fine, okay? We press next. We want to export all the records because we want to export from a table to a shapefile. Okay, so we press next. And finally, we press export. So do you want to add a new layer? Yes. The layer has been added. Okay. And we close the wizard. So we have the CSV file can contain points, lines, and polygons. You can see here the type of layer, points, lines, or polygons. And when we export a DXF file or a CSV file where they contains the three types of elements, the shapefile is only one type of element. So when we export this type of files to shapefile, it creates three different files: polygons, lines, and points. In this case, the polygon, the surface, if we open the attribute table, it's empty because we didn't have any polygon. So we can remove this layer. The surface, secondary button on the surface layer, and delete layer. Delete. Yes, we want to delete. And the same for the lines, the curves. For example, here, the curves. Here, if we open the attribute table for the curve, the line layer, it's empty because we didn't have any line. All of them were points. So secondary button, the same secondary button on the line layer, and delete layer. Okay, we want to delete. And we have the points. This is a new shape file. And if we open the attribute table, we can see all the elements that we had in our layer. Okay? With the fields, the different fields, we have all this information. Okay, so we press the code, it doesn't appear because we select the option to export without the code field. So it doesn't appear here. So we have from a CSV file now we have a shapefile that we can edit, we can work with this type of field, type of layer. So it's very interesting, this option. Now we are going to show a new functionality of GBC Desktop that is very interesting. For example, if we have information in our computer about the different elements, for example, if we have a layer with the museums, we can create hyperlinks. We can create hyperlinks to a website, to a folder, to PDF files, to images. So we can use this tool, and when we click on the element, the PDF file will be open, or the website will be open, etc. So we are going to see this option. Well, we are going to add a new layer in this case with the museums of London. So you are going to add layer, the fourth button, add layer, from file, and add. Okay, and we are in London folder. We are going to load the London Museums shapefile. Okay, double click on the London Museums shapefile, double click, and here we have this layer. I have to tell you about the reference system. When the shapefile contains a PRGA file, for example, the London Museums, this is the information of the reference system. If the shapefile contains a PRJ file, this is recognized and it is shown here, EPSG 27700. Okay, so the reference system of the shapefile is different than the reference system of the view. It will be reprojected on the fly. If here we have a message about CRS is not recognized because it doesn't have a PRGA file, we have to access to the properties of this file to indicate the CRS, the reference system of this layer. Okay, so we will have to access to this option and select the reference system of the layer. Okay, it is when the reference system, the file with the reference system information is not with the shapefile. Okay, so in this case, it contains a PRJ file, so it is recognized. We press accept, and now we can press secondary button on the London Museums and zoom to layer. Secondary button and zoom to layer. So we can see all the points here. If you don't like the symbology, because the point is very clear, the color is very clear, you can open the plus button and then double click on the point of the London Museums. Okay, double click on the point. You can change the color, for example, red color, and the size if you want. And now we can see the points. Okay. So as I told you, we are going to create a hyperlink. So if you open the attribute table of the London Museums, you open the attribute table with this button. We have a link PDF I created this field, but we are going to create another one. Okay. I don't know if you have this this file or not, because I was working with different files when I tested the workshop. So we are going to create two new fields for website and for PDF files. Okay, we want to connect to our websites and to PDF files. So you are going to start editing on the London Museum layer. Start editing. Secondary button and start editing on the London Museum layer. And you are going to open the attribute table. Okay, secondary button and attribute table, or this button on the toolbar. Show attribute table. And now we are going to create two new fields for websites and for PDF files. So table menu, table, you have two options. Or add column, we can add the field directly, or column manager, we can add new fields, remove, rename, etc. Okay, so we are going to add column directly. So first one, table, add column, the name, for example, website, the first one, website for, we are going to hyperlink, to create a hyperlink to websites. The hyperlink is a text, so is a URL, so it's a text, so string. And as I told you, if we keep 50 for the size, the URL will be cut. Okay, so we will have to select a longer size. For example, 250. 250 for the website. We press accept. And another field, we're going to access to table, add column, and another one. This one will be PDF for the PDF file. Okay, the name of the field, PDF, a string, because it will be a text, and the same 250, because it will be a path, a long path, so 250. And we press accept. And here we have website and PDF file. Okay. So for the website, we are going to use, for example, there are two museums that I have copied the URL. You are going to the folder where you have the cartography. Okay, the cartography of the workshop. You are going to this folder where you have the folder, the London folder, New Zealand, new, with the cartography, and you have a links.txt file. It's a txt file, links. You are going to open this file. Okay, here you have this file with different URLs. In this case, we are going to select the Queen's Gallery URL. Okay, you select this URL. You are going to copy, or Control C, or copy. Okay, the Queen's Gallery, copy. And then we return to GBC, we go back, and we are going to look for the Queen's Gallery. We have 85 elements, so it's not difficult to find the Queen's Gallery. it's here. But if there are more, if we have 1000 elements, one option is to press the name of the field, in this case, name. And here we have two options to order, to change the order of the field. For example, ascending or descending. So we press one of them and we go to the queue. And here we have the Queen's Gallery. Okay. So at the Queen's Gallery and website field, you are going to double click website and Queen's Gallery, and you press Ctrl V or paste. Okay, Ctrl V, Ctrl and V key. So here we have the URL about a website, Queen's Gallery website. If we had written 50 characters, more or less here, it would be cut. So it was very important to write 250 characters. Okay, so we have a URL for the website, and now we are going to select a PDF file. So if you go to the London folder, here you have the Arsenal Museum PDF file. Okay, it's very important to avoid spaces, as I told you, because they are URLs and paths that can be a problem when we have spaces. Okay, so here you have the Arsenal, in my case, the Arsenal Museum is in this path. In Windows, you can double click on this line to copy the path. Okay, you have all the path to the London folder. In Linux, I can do it from here. Okay, and as you can see here, if you double click on the path, you can select and copy. You can copy the correct, the full path. Okay, you can copy, and we are going to GBC, and we are going to look for the Arsenal Museum. So we have the order. So Arsenal Museum and the PDF field. So double click on the Arsenal Museum and the PDF field and Ctrl V. Okay, so we have Ctrl V, but we only have the path. We have to write the name of the file. So this is only the path to the folder. Then we go back, and then on the Arsenal Museum PDF file, we can rename, change the name. So change the name. We select all the name of the file, then Ctrl C or copy. Okay. You have to copy the name of the field or the file, and then you go back to GBC, and then you have to write, if you are in Linux, you have to write a slash, and if you are in Windows, you will have to write the opposite one. Okay, so depending on Linux and Windows, you will have to write one or the other one. And then Control V to paste the name of the file. Okay, so this is in my case, this is the path to the file. In your case, you will have a C or D unit, and then all the path. Okay, so you press enter to save the value, and we have the website, and we have the PDF file, the path. So we're going to access to table and stop editing. We have stop editing from the table, or from both from the table or from the layer. Okay, we can do it from any of the side. So finish editing, and we're going to save editing. So now we have the new table with the values for the PDF file and for the website. Okay, we're going to continue. We have to configure the parameters of the hyperlink. Okay, so in this case, we are going to double click on the layer. Then the museums, we are going to double click to access to the properties. Double click the properties of the London Museums layer. And now we have another tab that is the hyperlink. Okay. So first of all, we have to enable the hyperlink. And we will have two actions. So there's a first one by default, and we are going to add a new action. So we add a new action. So we're going to configure the two options. First one, the website field. First one is the website field. And we are going to link to text and HTML files in browser. We are going to select the option in browser. With this option, then your browser of the computer will be opened in Firefox, Chrome, etc. Okay, and this is the other option for the internal browser of GBC. Okay, so you are going to select this option in browser. And the second one, the last field, the PDF file, and links to PDF files. You have different options. You can link to folders, so your file manager will be open. Your file browser will be open with the folder that you indicate at the field. You can link to images. You can link to PDF files. You can link to SVG files for images, for icons, for example, and the websites. Or you can also link to HTML files. So in this case, we are going to select PDF. That is the format that we have selected here. And here we have an option, the extension. It's very important to take into account. If we have written the PDF file extension at the path, at the table, we don't have to write anything here, okay? Because if I write, in this case, PDF, it's looking for arsenalmuseum.pdf.pdf. That doesn't exist. So we have to look for, to delete, because I wrote the PDF file extension at the table, okay? It's very important. So now we are going to accept. we have the hyperlink settings. So now we are going to look for the tool. The tool is this one at the queries tools. We have the last one is the hyperlink, this one. Okay, hyperlink. We also have it in the view. I didn't remember where it was, but it usually is in the layer or layer query. Hyperlink is the same. Okay. You press hyperlink, so you have a new button here, and we are going to look for the museums. We are going to look for the Arsenal Museum and the Queen's Gallery. Okay, so we can do it from the attribute table. For example, here the Queen's Gallery. Okay, we can select the Queen's Gallery, and there's a button. If we don't see the point in an easy way here, we can go to the selected elements using this button, zoom to selection. Okay, zoom to selection. So you press here, you click, zoom to selection, and we can see here, I'm going to close the table. If you have a smaller size, maybe with the yellow color, you won't see the point. So you can change the size. Double click on the point here, 12, for example, and here you can see better the point. Okay, when it's in yellow color, maybe you won't see it. So if we press on the point with the hyperlink tool, the website of the Queen's Gallery has been opened in the browser. Okay, and if we go back to GBC, this window has been opened because we have two actions: the PDF file, that there isn't any one for the gallery, the Queen's Gallery, so the window is empty, and the browser. And we are going to look for the Arsenal Museum. So we go to the attribute table. We look for the Arsenal Museum. The best option to go to the Arsenal Museum is to select the register and then zoom to selection. Okay, the same. Zoom to selection. We close the attribute table, and now we have the hyperlink. If we press on the point, we can get the PDF file. In my case, I'm going to check it. Maybe I have an error. No, sorry, I didn't have the layer active. Okay, I have to put the layer active, and now it's open. No, maybe I have an error, but I don't know why. I'm going to check my settings and the museum, hyperlink, PDF. Okay, maybe it's because my version of Ubuntu is older. Okay, but you will Have you got the PDF file? You will see a window here with the information of the PDF file. Okay, so I have an error, but I think it's because the Linux version is older. Okay, so with the hyperlink, you can see the information from the PDF files, from images, etc. Okay, we are going to continue. We have seen the information, the symbology by point directly, but we also can, if you remember, we have downloaded the OpenStreetMap, symbol library. So we can apply this symbol library to the London museums. So I'm going to show you all the museums, for example. We can click on the point of the London museums, and here you can see the symbol libraries that we have in GBC. We have GBC Basic with several symbols, and we have downloaded the OpenStreetMap symbol library from the add-ons manager at the beginning of the workshop. So here you have the different folders with the different elements, for example. And in tourist, in this case, if you access to tourist, you have a museum, for example. Okay, you can select the museum. And here you have, if you want by pixels, or if you want by meters, you can change. So we are going to keep 20 pixels. So if we accept, here we have the museums with the 20 pixels. And if we press select by rectangle, we can select the different elements, and they are in yellow color. Why? Because when this symbol library was created, there are two symbols. This one, the original one, with the name, with each name, and the same symbol, but in yellow color. The name, the word cell, S-E-L, has been added to the name of the symbols. So we are going to create a new symbol library. For example, if you access to the folder, of the workshop with the cartography of the workshop, you have a folder called traffic signs. Okay. In this case, we have, there are 3 different signs, these 3 ones, and I have created the same one, but with the yellow color, and the name is the same one, but with S-E-L, okay, with this one, and this option with the yellow color. If we load these elements in GBC desktop, it will show the yellow color, the yellow element when the elements are selected. Okay, so we are going to create our own symbol library. For example, for the municipality, you have several symbols for the museums, for the hotels, for the bike rentals, etc. With the same configuration. So you can create your own symbol library. You have to access to the tool, so it's this menu. Now to the tool and symbology. Okay, you have to access to tools, symbology. At browse symbols, you can see all the symbols that are in your GBC, but with this option, import picture marker symbols, if you press here, you can select, you can import your own symbol library. Okay, so you are going to select images. You press here, then you are going to the folder of the workshop, and then traffic signs. Okay, and you are going to select with Control key or Shift key, you are going to select all the images, the original one and the selection one. Okay, so you select all the images, the traffic signs folder, then you press select the images, and here we have all the images that we are importing. And now we have different options for the folder. If we want to add these elements, these icons to any of the folders of the symbol libraries that we have, we can select here, for example, and they will be added to the OpenStreetMap symbol library. But if we want to create our own symbol library, a new symbol library, we will write traffic signs. We will write the name of the new symbol library. And there are another option. We can have the symbol library, and inside the symbol library, we can have different folders. For example, for traffic signs, we can have a folder for speed signs, for danger signs, for forbidden actions, etc. So we can create the slash and danger, for example. So with this option, these elements will be created in a folder called danger inside the traffic signs symbol library. Okay, so we can write this one, traffic signs and slash danger. This is the default size. We can keep this one, and if we can select the option to overwrite or not. So we are going to press import. Okay, so they have been imported. We press OK. We can check, for example, for the bicycle rentals, we can apply a symbology, or we can go to tools, symbology, browse symbols. At this option, we can see all the symbol libraries that we have in our GBC. So tools, symbology, browse symbols, and here we have traffic signs, the name of the symbol library, and danger with the 3 different signs that we have imported. Okay, in this case, we had to have 3 different folders. So for danger, for obligation, and the other one recommendation. Okay, so it depends on that type of elements. You can create different folders. Okay, so if we close, we're going to apply, for example, to see the example, we're going to apply for bike rental. You are going to open the plus here. You are going to click on the point of the bike rental. Okay, and you are going to select traffic signs danger, one of them. Okay, whichever you want. Okay, so you select this one, for example, and you can see that if we put the bike rental layer active, we can select. Okay, you can see that we have applied our own symbol library. If you have created your own symbol library for the municipality, you have your own symbol library with all the elements, hundreds and hundreds of signs, of symbols. You can create the symbol library, the package, to be shared with your colleagues of the municipality. So in this case, you have to go to Tools, Symbology, Create Symbology Package, okay, Tools, then Symbology, and Create Symbology Package. So you decide, you select the folder to create the package with. So in this case, the traffic signs. You can create your symbol library of the municipality. Then you press next. You can select symbols or municipality symbols. Municipality symbols. So you can select the code, the name, the version is very important. You can have a first version with a few elements, and in 4 or 5 months later, you can have a new version with new symbols. For example, you can create a second version, so you can keep the version here. And then you press next. This is the file that will be created at the install folder of your GBC application. You press next and finished. So if you go to the install folder of your GBC installation, here you have the package. If you send the package to your colleagues, to the municipality, they can load this symbol library from Tools, Add-ons Manager, Installation from File, and then from here, from the points, they can look for the package that you have sent to them. So in this case, this one, install. So selecting this package, they press next, and I have the package installed, but because I have created this library, but you can see that they can install the symbol library that you have created. So you can create an only symbol library for the municipality with all the symbols to be used, and you can share this symbol library with your colleagues. It's very interesting tool. Okay, now we are going to see another type of layer that we can load. We have loaded only local layers, shapefile. We will load later DXF file, etc. We have loaded an orthophoto, a local orthophoto, but we also can load web services. For example, there are a lot of web services offered by the different public administrations for the different countries that you can load. You can access to this information without downloading anything on your computer. Some of them are the orthophotos. For example, in Spain, we have the orthophoto of the whole country, and we don't have to download anything in our computer. We are connecting to the web service in the Geographical Institute, of Spain. We connect to the URL. We can load the orthophoto, and we don't download anything in our computer because this orthophoto is a lot of gigabytes. So we don't have to download anything in our computer. So you are going to press Add Layer. You are going to press Add Layer, and you are going to press Web Map Service. It's the common one. There are a lot of web map services in different countries. So you are going to access to Web Map Service. And now we are going to access to the file that we opened some minutes ago about the links, the TXT file. So, and here you have the Web Map Service for London. You have to select this URL. You have to copy, okay, the Web Map Service from London. You have to copy the URL, and then you go to GBC, and at the Web Map Service tab, you have to delete the URL that was written, and you can press Ctrl V. So Ctrl V, you can paste the URL. It's very important to check if there is any space at the beginning or at the end. Okay, so here we can see that there isn't any space, and if we go to the beginning of the URL, we can see that there isn't any one. Okay, it's good. So now we are going to press Connect. Okay. First of all, we have information about the server. We press Next. We have more information. We press Next. And now we have all the available layers at this server. In this case, there are only one, the cadastral parcel information, but there are a lot of servers with more than 50 or 100 or 200 layers only for one URL, okay? So we have to select this one and press Add, or directly double click. Okay, here we can see the layer that we are going to load. In this case, the cadastral parcel. Okay, we press Next. Here we have the styles. In this case, there are only one style, so we press Next. And this window is very important. The first one, the format, the web services, web map service, and web map tile service, they are always images. Okay, although the information is vector, the final information is an image. So the parcels are polygons, or usually are polygons, but we are going to see this information as an image. So we have to select the format of the image. There are several formats, and several of them have transparency. It's very important because, for example, the PNG allows transparency. So if we have the orthophoto and if we have our web map service on this orthophoto, if we select this format with transparency, we will see the orthophoto under the cadastral parcel layer. Okay, so it's very important to select this format with transparency. The reference system, very important to select the same reference system than the view, so to have the layer at the correct side. And here we have different options to the text about the text information. So I usually use the text HTML format. Why? because if the server allows to get the information with the information tool, with this tool, if we click on the elements, this is shown as it has been created. For example, if it's a table, we can click on the elements and the table will be shown. Because if we select explain, we will see a lot of texts without understanding anything. So I usually select HTML, okay? And we press accept. It's connecting to the server. It will be in London, maybe. And it depends on the zoom. Any of them is not shown in several zooms. For example, the cadastral parcel information is smaller information. So at this zoom, maybe it's not shown because we are far. So we can zoom in. We can select the zoom in tool, and we can go to the small area. Here are the orthophoto. It's still connecting. It depends on the connection. It depends on the server. In this case, I have the network with the recording. We are connected to London, so maybe I have this problem with the network connection. I don't know if you have connected. I think it's still connecting. Yesterday I connected in 1 or 2 seconds, but it seems that my network is not good with at this moment, or problems is not good, or there isn't any problem with the data. So I'm going to zoom to London, zoom to layer, to the orthophoto. I'm going to zoom to a small area, and I'm going to select the layer and reload. And I put it visible. Okay, now we can see the information. Okay, it depends, because I was in a far zoom, so it was loading a lot of information. So if you go to a small zoom, here you can see the information. This information is available in a server in London, so you have all the information about that in this web service. And I haven't downloaded anything about this layer in my computer. Okay, so there are a lot of information in any country. For example, as you can see here, for example, in Spain, web services. In the case of Spain, we have for the national, for the regions, and local web map services. For example, for national web services, all of them are URLs that we can load in GBC. For example, for water, agriculture, for cadastre, for food, for biodiversity. So there is a lot of information it depends on the countries, but any of these URL can be loaded as a web app service in GBC, and in any of them, and there are or one layer or until between 1 or 100 or 200 layers in each URL. Okay, so it's very interesting information that you can manage in GBC. Okay, I'm going to put not visible the layer, because the connection makes GBC slow, because it's connecting by any Zoom. So now it's better. And we are going to load another layer. In this case, the new layer that we are going to load is in another reference system. Okay, so we can have layers in different reference systems, but we need to work in a same reference system, because they are in different coordinates. So for example, we are going to add layer. You select add layer, and you select file and add. Okay, and you are going to access to the London folder, and you have a layer called polygon 4326. This layer is in another reference system. Okay, it's in WGS 84 and geographical coordinates in latitude, longitude. So we are going to open this layer. Here we can see the information. It has a PRJ file with the reference system information. It's different than the view, so it's going to be reprojected on the fly. Okay, so we press accept, and we are going to put it active, secondary button, and zoom to layer. Secondary button on the new layer and zoom to layer. And here we can see several buildings. It's very important to say that this layer is in another reference system. These polygons are in geographical coordinates, okay, not in meters. They are in degrees. So this layer has been reprojected on the fly, and we can see this layer on the view. But we can work on this layer because they are in another coordinates. What do we have to do to work on this layer? We have to reproject this layer to this reference system, to the reference system of the view. So how can we do it? It's very easy. It's now reprojected on the fly. So now we are going to secondary button, export to, on the new layer, export to, secondary button, export to, then shape file, then next. We're going to use the simplified exporting, then we press next. We're going to select the new name of the file, so you are going to the folder of the course and new folder, the folder where we are saving all the new layers. And the new layer will be buildings or polygon if we want to keep the same name, polygon, but the new reference system, 27700. Okay, we press open. This is the new name. We press next. Here, the same projection of the view, 27700. Okay, next. All the records, next. and export. Yes, we want to add the layer. And okay. So now we have the new layer is at the same system, in the same system, reference system of the view. So now we can work on it. We can start editing, we can apply geoprocessing tools, etc. Okay, it's very important. It's how we reproject vector layers this way. We reproject on the fly, and after that, we export to new shapefile to the reference system of the view. Okay, so we can work on it in an easy way now. Well, we're going to see another type of document of GBC. If you remember, from show project manager, we had the maps. The maps is for the graphical output of the views that we have in our projects. In our project, we have we can add a view, and then we can add the scale, north, legend, etc. So we can create a new map. We press map here, and we press new. Okay, we are going to create the map with the first view. So the untitled view, we are going to select this view. We can change the size of the page. In this case, it's the A4 by default, but we can select another one. So same as printer is A4, and we press accept. So here you have the view on the page, on the map. We are going to use the black squares to increase the size of the layer of the view, to keep space for the legend, for the north, for the scale, the title, etc. And here we have the information about the view. We can press secondary button on the view, and we can access the properties. Why? Because the scale is not fixed. The scale is only, I'm going to cancel, sorry. I'm going to cancel to show you these zooms are available. We can zoom on the view because we don't have a fixed scale. So in this case, we have 277,000. So we can change the scale in an easy way. But if we have the zoom to all the polygons, if we press the selection tool, select by rectangle, secondary button and properties, we can change to fixed scale, because this scale is not usual for a map. Okay, so depending on the scale that we have here, we can select the new scale. If I select 250,000, it will be bigger, so it will be split in the top and in the bottom. Okay, so I will have a problem. So I will have to select an upper number. In this case, 300,000. Okay. So now it's okay, it's smaller, but it's a fixed scale with, it's a common, not very common, because it will be 200,000 and 50,000 or 500,000, but it's a good scale for my map. Okay, so we are going to insert the different elements. First of all, we have rectangles. For example, we can insert circles, lines, points, polygons, polylines, or rectangles. For example, we are going to insert a rectangle. And we can draw. We click at the first point, we click at the first point, and then we click at the last point. So for example, here. And this way we can write the different boxes for the map. Okay, we can use these options. Next one, the text. We have this button. We press here, insert text, at the A button, and we write the box where we want to insert the text. For example, London map. We can change the font, the size, for example, size 40, a fixed size, 40, the color, etc. Okay, here we have the information. We can insert as many text as we want. We also have, the box is very easy, a simple box, only rows and columns. So I'm not going to show you this option, but the next one is very interesting, the legend. For example, we press insert legend, and we write, we write a rectangle where we want to insert the legend. Then we have to select the view. In this case, we have only one view in our map. We have to select this view, and we have all the layers that are available in our map. Okay, so we press London boroughs, for example, and central London, for example. Okay, we want to add the legend of these layers. We accept, and here we have all the colors. I have selected elements on the layer, so I can go back to the window, view and title window, to go back to the view to remove selection. Okay, so view and title, untitled, and then remove selection. Okay, see, here we can see all the colors. And then I go back to the map, window, map. Okay, here we can see all the colors that are available in the legend. Okay, then we are going to insert new elements. In this case, the north. For example, we insert north. We can draw the rectangle, and we can select the north, for example, this one, and very important, the view of the map that we want to associate the north with. Because if we rotate the view, the north will be rotated, okay? So we accept, and here we have the north. Next one, the scale. Insert scale. Okay, we draw the rectangle. We have to select the view of the map, and here we have the scale. And we can decide if we want it a numerical scale or a graphical scale. So for example, a graphical one, the intervals, this is not a correct interval. So 3000 in my case. It depends on the rectangle that you have drawn. Okay, so we have 3 intervals at the right side, 1, 2, 3, and 2 intervals at the left side, semi-intervals, 1 and 2, okay? We also can show units, show numerical scale on the bar or under the bar, etc. So we press accept, and here we have the scale. And if we have a locator in our view, we had it because we have added at the beginning of the workshop, we can insert the locator. So we can insert the rectangle. We associate it with the view, okay? And we accept. Here we can see the zoom. In this case, the zoom is the same than is all the zoom. But if our map is a part of this view, for example, here we can see a situation map of this map, of this bigger map, of this map, a big map. Okay. Okay, and when we finish editing, when we finish creating our map, we can print directly to the printer. We can export to PostScript, or we can export to PDF file. So we are going to select this option, export to PDF file. You press, this one is the 4th button of the toolbar. You press PDF file, and you are going to the folder the new folder where we are creating our cartography. So map 1, for example, this is the name of the PDF file, map 1. We're going to save. And after that, if we go to the folder, to the new folder, here we have a map 1 PDF file. With the map that we have created in GBC. Okay, with the legend, the north, the scale, etc. So we can add new elements. We are going back to GBC. We can insert different boxes. We can insert logos, for example, from here, insert images. We can draw the rectangle, and we can browse to look for the image, the logo of your municipality, for example. You can add this information. Okay, so I'm going to close the map here, and we are going to create a new view. Or I'm going to close the map here. I'm going to the project manager, from show project manager, and we are going to create a new view. So you are going to access to the view document. We press new, then properties. In my case, I can't insert I can change the reference system from here. I can do it in another way. If I have the view here, you are going to the, sorry, I'm going to test it. One moment. USA. No, I will have a problem because I can change the reference system of my view. But you can do it. You select the reference system of this view and title 2, properties. Then you access to the current projection. You're going to access here. And then at the new view, and the window that will be open, I'm going to do it in another way. But sorry, a layer, add this one, properties. Okay, so at the view properties, where you are going to select recent, no, EPSG, okay? From view properties, current projection, EPSG, and you are going to look for by code 2249, okay? 2249. This is the code that you are going to look for by EPSG. Okay, you press finish, you press accept, okay, at the view properties. I'm doing it in another way. I'm going to change the CRS view from here, okay? So now you are at view properties, so you have the view is empty and the EPSG is 2249, okay? So now you are going to add layer, this layer. So you are going to add layer, file, add layer, and you are going to USA, the folder of the cartography, you are going to USA folder. You are going to USA folder and Cambridge DXF file. This the first one, okay? Cambridge. So it doesn't have a EPSG, a PRJ file, so it's unknown. So it is recognized as the same as the view. It's correct, so you accept, and you will have this view. This is a DXF file, and the reference system is this one. It's very important to load and to manage DXF files because most of the municipalities have their information in CAD format. But in CAD format, we don't have a lot of information. If we open the attribute table of a DXF file or the WG file, we can see only the ID, entity, type of geometry, the layer of the CAD format, color, elevation, thickness, text, height, test, or rotation. We don't have the type of building. We don't have the name of the owner of the parcels. We don't have areas. Okay, so it's not easy to manage this information. The DXF file only has this information. The only information that we can manage from here is this one, the layer that we had in our CAD application, or the text when they were labels in our CAD file, okay? So, but we can select elements from here, from the DXF file, and we can export them to a shapefile. So we are going to access to the select by attributes button. Okay, so from here, select by attributes. Here, select by attributes. We are going to open the fields, and we are going to select layer, double click, layer, then here. We can write it by hand, or we can select here, click, layer is, and we are going to select the parcels, the first one. Double click. Okay, assessing parcels. We're going to select only the parcels of this DXF file. We're going to press new selection. We're going to close this window. And here we have 283 elements that are the parcels of this file. Okay, so we're going to close the table, but we keep selecting the selection. We keep the selection. We close the table, and we're going to secondary button, export to, secondary button, export to, shapefile. Okay, shapefile. We press next. We are going to use the simplified export. We press next. We are going to select here the folder to access the new folder. In the name, parcels, for example, parcels, Cambridge. Okay, this is the name of the shapefile. We press open, then we press next. The reference of the reference system of the view. Okay, we press next. Only selected records. Okay, because we only want to have the parcels. We press next and export, and we press yes. Okay, so we press OK and close. And here we can remove, we can put not visible the cut layer. And we have 3 layers: points, lines, and surface. All the elements were surface, so we can manage only this layer. So we have from the DXF file. Now we have the parcels of the in shapefile format. If we press double click on the color, in my case, I don't know how many parcels are. So if we press double click on the color of the parcel layer, I'm going to change to a more clear color. So now we can see the elements. Okay. And now for example, we are going to see the geoprocessing tools. So we are finishing in 10 minutes. So we are going to see the geoprocessing tools. In this case, or first of all, we have our shapefile, but the shapefile, the table, only contains the entity, layer, color. It doesn't contain the area, for example. So there's an option to add a new field with the area of the parcels. So you are going to open the attribute table. You press on the surface layer, you press show attribute table. And from here, you have to access to table, add measure, table menu, add measure, and area. If it's a point layer, we have add coordinates, and if it's a line layer, we have a length. Okay, so we are going to select add area. New fields will be created, yes. And now we have the areas of all the parcels. Okay, it wasn't included in GBC or in the CAD format, but now it's a shapefile, so we can add new information. So we have the parcels, and we can select all the parcels with more than 1,000 square meters. So we can select this. We can apply filters, etc. Okay, and we're going to remove selection, clear selection, and we're going to see the geoprocessing tools. For example, we are going to select one of them. One parcel, we select, for example, this simple selection, and we want to select one of them. We want to apply, for example, we want to, there are public holidays, and we want to apply fire, there will be fires. So we want to apply a buffer, 100 meters or 50 meters of a buffer to check which parcels will be inside this buffer. So now we are going to access to the toolbox. From here, this button, toolbox. You press this button, toolbox, and here you can find all the geoprocessing tools that are available in GBSIG desktop. Here you have the basic ones, GBSIG geoprocesses and vector layers. You have buffer, clip, convex hull, difference, dissolve, etc. And then at Sextante, you have more than 300 and 400 geoprocessing tools for raster to create digital elevation models, to vectorize, etc. Okay, and as we installed the geocoding geoprocess, it's available here. At the beginning, we installed it from Add-ons Manager, so it's available from here. But we are going to apply a buffer. So inside GBSIG geoprocesses, vector layers tools, double click on the buffer, double click. So the layer, in the last ones, the parcels Cambridge surface. Okay, this is a shapefile that we have created. We want an area defined by a distance 50 meters. Okay, and we only want to apply this geoprocess on the selected geometry, on the parcel that we have selected. Okay, we can dissolve entities. In this case, we only have one entity, so we don't have to dissolve, but we could select this option. We can select the round border for the borders, 1 or 2 or 3 polygons if we want three different areas of 50 meters, and the buffer, the output file. At this moment, it's a temporary file, but if we press here, we can access to the folder of the project, new, at the new folder, and for example, buffer. This is the name of the new layer that we are going to create. We press next, save. Okay, this is the name of the file and the path. And we press OK. So I have a problem. I don't know if it's because of the type of file. I don't know. I'm going to, sorry, one moment. No, I don't know. I thought, I don't know if it's because of the CAD format, because I didn't have enough time to, so I applied it from an existing parcel. But I'm going to apply, we only have 4 minutes. I'm going to create, I'm going to start editing. I will do this exercise alone to show you how it works. So the parcel, for example, I'm going to draw an auto polygon. Okay, so I'm going to show you for this example. Here I'm going to show you to draw this. Okay, this is this street. I'm going to finish editing, and I'm going to apply. This is a new polygon. It's not the polygon received from the CAD format. Okay, so from this one, the street, I'm going to apply 2 meters in each side to increase the size of the street, to expropriate the part of the parcels. So I'm going to apply the buffer on this polygon. Okay, so I'm going to do the same, but not from a parcel, but from this street. So 2 meters in each side, only for the selected geometry for the this layer, this street, and in this case I'm going to save to temporary. Okay, so I press round border too. Yes, I press OK. No, this is the same. Maybe it's because of the exportation. When we exported the layer, maybe there was a problem about that. Okay, I don't know why. What is the problem? For to see this is one, for example. I'm going to do it quickly. We have only 1 minute. Another layer. Okay, so City of London, 50 of 100 meters. Only selected geometry, round border, and temporary file. Okay. Here you can see the buffer. Zoom to layer. No, I don't know what which is the problem. It's in only my computer. Okay, I think you will have that you have seen all the elements, all the geo processes that are available. Okay, so we don't have enough time about the geocoding tool that we installed. For example, you can find, if you have a table with the addresses, you can create a point layer. I'm going to show you information similar to continue with this layer, with this workshop. If you go to the GBC blog, if you look for blog and GBC in Google, you will find this option. And here you have all the information about the new tools, new versions, conferences, etc. And if you look for GIS municipality, municipality management in Google, the first link, if you look for this in Google, the first link, you have a complete course with some of the tools that we have seen in these 3 hours, and another tools that are available. For example, the derivative geometries. You can reproject. You have image georeferencing, GPC 3D. Okay, so here you can see more tools available for municipality management. And if you are interested in GBC Online implementation in your municipality, you can contact me. You have the email at the workshop web page, so you can contact me and let me know if you have any doubt. There are mailing lists also available where you can ask about any doubt about GBC. I'm going to stop sharing desktop to see if there is any doubt. Okay, it's because okay. So thank you very much to everybody. And if you can contact me if you have any doubt or if you are interested in implement GBC Online implementation. Okay,
Thank you very much, Mario. It was a great workshop.
Thank you. It was fine.
Editor toolbox are really fantastic.
Yeah, thank you very
everyone.
Much. Thank you. See you.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye bye.